I have a question for you. What's the real cost of drinking? Is alcohol really worth it? In this video, let's talk about it. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Jamie Dottie Garza, and it's time to ignite your sobriety. And in this video, I want to talk about a common, maybe question you've pondered. If you're anyone like me, I definitely pondered this. And is alcohol really worth it? And we're going to dive into not only the financial side of buying alcohol, but is it worth it for your body? Is it worth it for your health, your mental health, and your physical being? As someone who has embarked on 742 days of sobriety, I've been in the trench. I was in them trenches. I was drinking like a fish, as they would say. And now I am sober as a gopher. In fact, the other night, my wife, she celebrated her birthday, 34th. Happy birthday, baby. I love you. And guess what? Your boy kept it sober. She enjoyed her margarita, Patron margarita, Pat Ron margarita. And I enjoyed my, I think, a green tea mule, spirit free. Which is okay. It's kind of overrated. I should have just stuck to the ginger ale. But hey, the fact of the matter is, staying the course. Speaking of staying the course, I want to first talk about alcohol's appeal. This has been brainwashed in a sense, probably children. If you're someone like me, I grew up in the 90s, 1989 baby, millennial here, whoop whoop. Shout out to y'all. Drop in the comments if you're a millennial. Everything down to watching The Simpsons and you seeing Homer Simpson and his boys go, McDuff and sipping a cold one at the bar. Normal, right? It's all been normalized. I was in a household where alcohol was normalized. Celebrations, baby showers, barbecues, just drinking, normalized, bonding, camaraderie. I was one of those people who always wanted to drink earlier. So yes, I did do underage drinking, and I immediately, of course, loved the effects of it. That euphoria, that like, wow, just feel free. You know, that liquid courage, sending those risky texts, drunk babble, drunk texting, drunk calling, all those things. And of course, escaping stress later on in my life, and where I realized just covering more problems with more problems being alcohol. But I realized quickly that drinking alcohol was more or less like turning on a light switch. Once you drank and you turned the switch on, yes, all your problems would diminish. It felt like, yes, all your issues and stresses would be gone. But then again, the next day, guess what? You had to stand on those problems. And if you keep doing that over time, like I was doing for many years of my life, you realize like, damn, the problems just got worse. And like, now how do I tackle this? So the truth is, what's really happening to you when you numb out the pain? And that goes into the short-term effects of drinking. Yes, it feels so good momentarily in that moment, hammering those beers, guzzling that Hennessy, guzzling that cognac, guzzling that alcohol, mixing them drinks. But over time, I'm glad I found this out earlier because I was heavily drinking in my 20s, like heavy, hard body drinking, like hard body, like going out drinking way more than I intended, parking out at my job place at the time, waiting for the opening shift and going in there hammered and still being able to function. That's wild. Like no recovery time, like still glazy eyes, still like just dehydrated and parched. That was me. What I learned as I got older is that it was slowing the process of how I think, my reaction speed, and I was becoming more sluggish. I was becoming more foggy minded. I was becoming more irritable. And the more my body was getting hungover, or the more you become hungover and the more you dehydrate your body, the more you really just make yourself more vulnerable to becoming sick and being more vulnerable to attracting energy that's negative and attracting situations that you don't want to be in. And that goes into the long-term effects because it's not just about having a hangover the next day after drinking. Over time, it's linked to liver disease, heart problems, mental health issues, depression. As someone who openly battled mental health within myself, especially during my mid-20s, 25 going into 30, I realized the longing, dampering effects that alcohol put me in a whirlwind. At that time, I was drinking a lot of Hennessy, a lot of fifths. When we talk about what's the cost, well, First of all, I look back at this one year, I think it was 2016, and literally my apartment at the time, I was in a bachelor pad with my buddy, and literally my decor in my kitchen was literally Hennessy bottles, and I did the math, and it totaled up to about $6,000, $7,000 that year of fifths, pints, liters, Hennessy. That's all it was go to. That doesn't include the bar trips. That doesn't include the beers. That doesn't include the champagne. That's just Hennessy alone. I look now and think about it now like, dog, that could have been a down payment towards a car, a down payment towards a mortgage, a down payment to invest into camera equipment, to invest in my future, my kids' future. And it was just poured all the way for what? What was the purpose of that? And you know how much they jack prices up? I remember going to, baseball games and events, concerts. A regular drink, a beer, for example, would be spiked up to $20. Can you imagine the liquor price? Imagine doing that like just on beer alone, $100, $150 a night. It adds up very fast, and is that really worth it? I look at longevity and things, assets and things. Does it depreciate? Well, as soon as you consume alcohol, that thing's depreciating before you even walk out the lot. Think of it like a car because this temporary fix is like for a few hours, and then you got to go back to reality, homie. And it comes down to, do you have coping mechanisms for that reality? Are you really standing on business? Are you really tackling the issues at hand? Or are you just going, in my opinion, the sucker route? And I used to be a sucker, so I could talk about it. You go on the sucker route and you just leaning on alcohol to try to get you away from what you've been hiding from, playing hide and seek from. But reality is more than just the wallet that's affecting. It can actually start seeping into your family life, your relationships, if your loved ones, if you got kids at the time, if you have spouse, partner, girlfriend. Think about the example you're setting for your kids, or if they're gonna wanna get into it because of you leading, or someone you love. You might be more irresponsible when you drink, and you might say harsh things when you drink, and you might be two different people. It's living life on eggshells. You don't want to do that. When you really break things down and you become conscious and you really want to make a change, I advise you, I really honestly and genuinely want to ask you, is it worth it? Is that one drink worth it for your pockets? What is that going to lead to? What is that going to lead to in your mental health? How is that going to change you? Are you going to be someone who always goes to this weekly? Is it going to be a weekend thing and then goes into a weekday thing, and then here you go and you wasted 5 years of your life and you find yourself going to the Wawa on a wake up and getting a case of beer or however many you have? I'm speaking from experience. I've done this before. To really think about that. Because it's not all about money. Yeah, you're throwing money you're throwing it down the drain, literally. But think about the effects and what it costs your relationships, what it costs for yourself, your health, your mental health, your physical health. And I would advise, find some other coping mechanisms, find some other hobbies to do instead of just drinking. Working out, running, reading, Lego sets. I just got into Lego sets. Business, maybe you want to open your own business. Education, journaling, maybe revamping that resume to get a better job, or networking so you can get in better positions. You have to think about that. I just want to create this video as hopefully serve as inspiration, motivation to those who may be drinking a lot and want to stop drinking, or you just need some extra motivation to keep you on that sober path. It's not easy. If it was easy, everyone would be sober. It's not though. But I've been on both sides. I'm on the other side right now. It's possible. If you guys like this video, you know what to do. If you want to see more video content like this, subscribe to the channel. You won't be disappointed. Ignite your sobriety.